Let's go into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
They always say it's moving day on a Saturday on the PGA Tour, just in any type of golf tournament. Today, for me, this felt like a moving day. This Thursday, getting us a little bit closer to Super Bowl 58. I think the 2 weeks off is one too many. And you've experienced it. I've experienced it. Everyone, hawking companies, promoting companies, and who wouldn't jump on the fast buck? There's no doubt. I would if I believe in the product. I think most of you out there would as well. But we get closer, and it just becomes, that much more sure that we actually are going to get a game. And one of the most, I think, highly debated Super Bowls in quite some time. We're fishing, viciously for sidebar stories. And there's just not any. Right? Brittany Mahomes today, I thought Sports Illustrated, we gave them their funeral right here on Into the Night a couple of weeks ago. I thought we called it a career. I remember being all choked up. I had a lump in the throat. The heart was really slowed. It was beating maybe, 10, maybe 15 times per hour. And then all of a sudden I do my prep as I do each and every morning, afternoon, and into the night. And I start seeing practically naked photos of Brittany Mahomes, who's going to be on the Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition. Is that it? Is it the Kelsey, Swiftie thing? Is that it? Is it Pat Mahomes' dad getting caught with a 16-ounce cold beer between his legs, a DUI for the third time? Is that it? No. I mean, Joe Buck told us something's going to happen. And if it is, you kind of get the feeling it's going to be tonight, or if not tomorrow, right there in Las Vegas. For the record, I hope nothing does happen. Let's have a good football game. We'll see what does take place. But the line has been relatively the same, somewhere in the neighborhood of about 1.5 to 2. There's been some big money dropped. There are reports, including from the Philly Godfather, with one of his cronies telling us that another major bet is going to be made somewhere in the neighborhood of $500,000 to $1 million from the Philly Godfather a little bit earlier in the program, or a little bit earlier in the day, and we'll get into that a little bit later on in the program. We will share that with you. All right, so we're going to be really busy here over the next couple of hours. Looking forward to the program. If I'm a little subdued, if I'm a little slowed, it's because, I'm over-sedated after spending a couple hours in the chair over at Carlson Dental. And, they could have ripped 8 teeth out and I wouldn't have felt anything. Somewhere between Dark Side, Animals, and, of course, The Wall, I listened to them all. 2 locations, including the one I always visit, are in Bartram Springs. People just hate to go to the dentist. I'm telling you. I enjoy it. I go 4 times a year, every 3 months. I'm going to try to switch that around and go like every other month. It's that enjoyable. And who doesn't like to have clean teeth? So if you're scared, this is the good folks over there at Carlson Dental. But if I sound a little loopy today, if I sound a little, just kind of like I fired up a doobie in the parking lot, that's not the case. I'm just sedation, brother. Try it. I actually ran into some people there. They're like, listen, we're here because of the commercial. Radio commercials work, ladies and gentlemen, and Carlson Dental is a great example of that. Hall of Fame talk is 15 minutes away. I'm going to be incredibly thorough on this. I wanted to do the 5 I'd pick and then the 5 that I do think are going to get selected. I'm going to do the latter only. Okay, I'm not a voter. You need 80% of the vote. I think we'll agree before I even get to it that first ballot nominated players, Antonio Gates and Julius Peppers, they're both getting in. End of story. I mean, you can't even argue it. Julius Peppers is fourth all-time in sacks. He's behind only Bruce Smith, the late Reggie White, and the late Kevin Green. Okay? Fourth all-time. Antonio Gates, he didn't redefine the tight end position, but he was such an incredible late find. Much like Julius Peppers, a couple of former basketball players. The difference, Julius Peppers was also a first-rounder in the NFL, going first to the Carolina Panthers. Gates was like either a very late-round pick or an undrafted free agent from a small school who just really settled in to an incredible scenario and ended up with 955 grabs, 11,841 yards, and 116 receiving touchdowns. Those two are in on the first ballot. So when I do dive into this, we'll talk about the other three. And that does leave, 13 other spots for three other nominations tonight. Everyone in town hoping it's Fred Taylor. I hope it's Fred Taylor. Man, what an honor. And he should be in. I'm not going to change my tune a few hours before it is actually announced. It's an award show that begins at 8. They're going to tease it. They're going to promote it. They want eyeballs on the television set. So my guess is that the Hall of Fame will not be announced until probably, 9 o'clock, something along those lines. I don't know if I watched it last year. I certainly did watch it the year that Tony Baselli did get in. I don't think it happens tonight for Fred Taylor. I hope I'm wrong. I've said all along, I think he gets in next year. I think 2025 is the year for Fred Taylor. It's still a phenomenal honor just to make the final grouping of 15. But again, we're going to spend a lot of time on that coming up here after our first break. That'll be in just a little bit. I haven't gotten into it either, Tuesday after Roger Goodell. He actually spoke midway through our show. The commissioner of the NFL did on Monday. And, he answered some decent questions because he did handpick the members of the media. I mean, gosh, where we're headed just in life now when it comes to Q&A, when it comes to trying to get the answers that the people want, it's so discarded when you can handpick who's going to actually ask questions. And obviously this was put together the way that it was, and I think the end result is you got some pretty good information on what's going on with the league, whether it's the playing surface, whether it is officiating, whether it is streaming, whether it is adding more games, including more international games. And it was announced that the Philadelphia Eagles are going to open up their season in Brazil. And I got some on it, and I received some as well on our text line, which you can always be a part of. We always invite you. 641-1010 is our text line, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. I've got quite a bit that sounds like this. Boy, you got to be kidding me. The Jaguars are going to play in Brazil. We already know they are going to play in London. Some think it'll be another home and away in London. As Jacksonville did this past year, it ended up being incredibly successful for them. As we know, they won both games out there in London. But there are people who believe that this organization that seems to get picked on by about everyone, right, except for those who hold up their fists and prove that they have a solid jaw and they can take a punch right here in Duval. There's not too many who come from other parts of our country and massively defend the Jaguars. So your panic is there, and you're nervous about this, and you're worried about this. Let me tell you, because there have been times in my life where I am a legendary worrier, okay? And I find myself now, my worries are personal. I worry about one thing and one thing only at the professional level, and I don't honestly care to get in that with you tonight. Much of it is my own making. I've made my own bed, so to speak. But and that's why I'm so soft now, right? That's why I don't take chances the way that I used to. I'm pretty vanilla. What type? Oh, there's 57 flavors of ice cream. Ballou? By all means, man, give me a vanilla. So you've seen that change in me, kind of as opposed to drinking a Miller High Life. No, it's now a Miller Lite, right? That's the type of version you have. But worrying about things you can't control is useless. It's absolutely nuts. And if you're concerned about this, why? You can't fix it. You can't do anything about it. You were vocal on not wanting to play in London. That fell on deaf ears. Okay? I mean, you were vocal about dropping to a knee for the national anthem. It held up for the slightest period of time, and it went away. Every year, if you keep a coach or a general manager or whatever, I hear, I'm not coming back, I'm not buying season tickets. You're liars. You're fans. You're all going to come back. I mean, there's people right now already starving for football, and it's the 8th day of February. I don't know what you people are going to do during this 6-month or whatever it is off period. With no NFL. But don't worry about things that you can't control. There's plenty to worry about. Worry about Trevor Lawrence. Is he going to be a franchise quarterback? Worry about Trent Baalke. Is he going to fix the biggest weak spot of this team, the interior offensive line? Worry about his decisions at left tackle. Go to a bar right now. Lay down a bet with your buddy. Who's the starting left tackle in September of 2024 for the Jacksonville Jaguars? You could win money on Cam Robinson, Walker Little, or Anton Harrison. You don't know. I don't know. But these are things to worry about. You're going to pick up a 5th-year option on Travis Etienne. You're going to restructure Christian Kirk. You're going to restructure Foye Oluokun. Are you going to flat-out release Darius Williams? Are you going to flat-out release Big Foley? Are you flat-out releasing Rayshon Jenkins and Zay Jones? Man, you got all sorts, but worrying about 3 games internationally? Don't do that to yourself. You can't control any of what I said, but there are certain things out there that you should worry about. Others, you just are going to have to deal with it. And I was surprised that it got that much play. All right, since I'm on that, there's a part of me that doesn't want to do this, but I'm going to anyway. And only because I want to remain consistent. And I have a goal here. It's like you're at the bottom. It's like you're laying pipe, right? PVC pipe. You're trying to connect the male to the female. You're trying to lay it so there's sewerage, so there's drainage, so no matter what it is. I mean, I learned years ago when I was in a foxhole with Vietnam veterans that frankly, I didn't want to lay pipe for a living. But I learned a little bit about it. And it's really starting at the bottom and then working your way up, right? You don't want to be a gopher the rest of your life. You don't want to be a guy with a shovel in your hand. No, you want to make your way up to machinery. You want to drive a backhoe, right? You eventually want to get a custom-made truck from your construction company and maybe get a desk job where you're on site and you're going from job to job and you're looking at your workers and you got a henchman here, whatever, and a site manager, and you're in charge of everything, right? That's about working your way up. That's the way that this organization is. It's still a bottom feeder organization. And I keep, unfortunately, providing the intel that supports that. Case in point today. And I'm doing this because I'm going to be here, and you're going to be here when they climb out of the basement, when they're finally recognizable, when they're finally accepted by other NFL cities and not looked at as a punchline. And that's been the case forever around here. The latest is, it's called Walter Hub, and it's some sort of survey that goes on, and they're really thorough. They send me stuff all the time, and they do it on anything you can imagine. Last week they sent one, what cities have the best lawns in the United States of America. So it's not only a sports-like survey. You name it. They're going to tell you where the best coffee is. They're going to tell you where the best steak is. They're going to tell you, who has the best restaurants, who has the best parks, and you name it. They survey anything you can think of. Well, they got here recently with the top 240 United States cities that have at least one professional football team or one college football team. All right, 21 key metrics were used to come up with their results. No surprise. The Jacksonville Jaguars, overall 32nd in America, behind such places as Tuscaloosa, Alabama. For those of you who do not know what I'm talking about, they feel that Alabama and college football is more worthy than the ball that's being played right here in Duval. But they rank all of the NFL cities. And remember, there's only 30 NFL cities because you have 2 in New Jersey with the Jets and the Giants, and you have 2 in Los Angeles, as you know, with the Chargers and the Rams. So NFL cities are ranked 1 through 30. Jacksonville. Here's a step up. Are you ready? The Jaguars came in at number 29. Houston, actually, behind them at number 30. So, this from a year ago is an improvement. Jacksonville was actually moved up one spot from 30 to 29. Yet, you find yourselves, and for those of you who are wondering, Pittsburgh's 1, Dallas, Boston 3, Green Bay, LA at 5. Man, that's staggering. San Fran at 6, Kansas City 7, New Orleans 8, both teams in New York at 9. I always thought it was New Jersey, but this survey is telling us it's in New York. Miami 10, Cincy 11, Indy 12. Let's see here. Buffalo was at 13, Glendale, Arizona 14, Baltimore 15, Minneapolis 16. Seattle, 17. Denver, 18. Vegas, 19. Philly's at 20, which is a real surprise for me. 21 is Tampa. 22 is D.C. 23, Cleveland. 24 is Nashville. 25, where are you? They do this differently because they have college in here as well. It doesn't go on the straight and narrow. Atlanta 25, Detroit 26, Chicago 27, Charlotte 28, and then it is Jacksonville in at number 29, Houston at 30. Okay, now the reason why they're 32nd overall, and here's what becomes really intriguing. Out of the 240 cities, where they rank Jacksonville as far as college football? You guessed it, number 240. Dead last. And what do you have here in town? You have Ed Waters, right? Gainesville, even though we're the home of the Gators and it's based in Jacksonville, not Gainesville, you're not going to get credit for that. Athens is close by. You're not going to get credit for that. Tallahassee's 2 hours and 15 minutes down I-10. You're not going to get credit for that. You're not going to get credit for Miami. You're not going to get credit for those 4 monsters, even though they're all what we discuss. It's all what we talk about. According to this survey, it's not going to play. So I don't want to give it too much more attention than that. I just think that regardless of when something comes out and it's brought to my attention and it involves this city and it involves this fan base, I'm always going to point it out to you because I feel like the fight has only barely begun. And honestly, I'm looking forward to the day when I can sit here and look at it and Jacksonville honestly is respected. Jacksonville gets a little bit of love. Right now, it doesn't matter what it is that we go to. They are always a bottom feeder. And again, just look at the stories that have happened during the offseason. They're not improving their reputation when you're asking for $20 million back because someone stole right from your company and you weren't even able to detect it. That's an embarrassment. It is. The other stories during the offseason, Bulky doesn't see eye to eye with Peterson. Peterson wants this coach. Bulky wants that coach. Trevor doesn't see eye to eye with Press Taylor. These stories are not good stories, right? And then you get away from it and you get to the weakest fans in the NFL. We talked about that a month ago. You were dead last. They called you the weakest fans in the NFL. It was what? BetOnline.com and GPT, their particular survey. I'm tired of it, but I'm not going to ignore it, right? Ignoring it's the wrong way to go about it. Letting you know is what I'm doing here because I want to see the change. Now, how are you going to create the change? How do you become a tough fan? I don't want you beating the tar out of people in a parking lot. I don't want you throwing stuff on the field, but still, I don't know how to pound the chest and make yourself more known. I will say this, the road games, there are more fans now. I noticed in my 8 years as a sideline reporter, even through COVID, fans attend far more games now on the road than they used to. This fan base is growing, but you still get picked on. And the only complaint I ever have about stuff like this is I wish the city was a little bit more identifiable, right? There's not enough mom and pop. There's not enough, this is a Jaguar bar. This is a Jaguar this. Oh, you go to that place and, man, they've got, they got Natron Means, cleats hanging from the rafters, or, oh, yeah, man, they got Aaron Beasley's game jersey autograph. There's not enough of that around here, right? There's a little bit too much plastic around it, too much chains around here where you're going to go get let's go get the autograph photo of Tim Tebow with a nice picture. It will cost you $800. And it's like, yeah, it looks neat, it's good. But wouldn't you rather just get one from Tebow when you saw him somewhere and you rip out a piece of paper and you have him sign and you put it up? There's a difference between spending and placing and saying it's plastic and it's fake compared to something that's real, that you went out, that you got. You found the equipment managers. You found someone who's a neighbor of a player. That's what great cities have. And great cities also have longer tenure. They have year after year after year after year. You don't have that here. You've been around for 3 decades. But that's the only thing I can see. Seriously, if I got a phone call right now, my buddy said, I'm coming into town, I need to find the ultimate Jaguars bar, I would have absolutely no idea where to send them. I mean, I look around my hood, it's nothing but chains. And I live in a bedroom community. Christ, everyone's in bed by 11 o'clock at night anyway. And that's the only thing I can think of, signage, right? You got the one that hangs over the big building downtown. I don't know what that's called this month. They switch up that name the way that a Kardashian will switch up a boyfriend. But that's the only thing I can think of. And it may be petty to you. But go to Green Bay. Go to Pittsburgh. Go to Chicago. All right? I don't see it in Indy. I don't see it in Houston. I don't see it in Nashville. I didn't see it in Cincinnati. Hell, I went over the river and was in Kentucky. I didn't see it there. I don't see it in Tampa. I don't see it in Miami. I don't see it in Atlanta. I'm sure they have them. They're bigger cities. But that's really the only thing I can think of. Outside of that, I think it's fine. But when's it going to end? How does it end? For 80 years, Florida was a joke. The only time they won anything the Gators did is when they cheated. They won nothing. They went around bragging like they were the greatest university ever invented. They won nothing when they were not cheating. They had a reputation like they were Notre Dame, and they had a performance of a consistency performance-wise of a Wake Forest. They were a joke with all the talent in this state. Florida did nothing. Miami won 5 natties. They got robbed out of a 6th. Florida State passed them. They're still ahead of them. Okay? But finally, Florida found some ground and ended up getting away from being the butt of the jokes in a conference where they bragged, but they disappointed. It took a long time for Florida. How long is it going to take for this team? When I can give you something like this and they're not last or next to last. I don't know. I don't have an answer for you. But I'm never going to ignore it. Again, I'm not doing it to come out here and try to fire you up, try to upset you. I'm doing it because I want to be here the day that it does change. And you can look at it and say, wow, look at how this franchise changed. Look at the respect now. Look at their identity now compared to the way it was in 2023 and in the early part of 2024. Will it ever happen? I hope so. Tonight's show and every night's show is brought to you by the good folks over at Shmunez Vision. I've known Dr. Neil Shmunez forever. Daughter Dr. Catherine Shmunez, fellowship trained in cornea, cataract surgery, our refractive surgery. Combined, that's more than 30 years worth of laser eye surgery experience. Just go to their website, Shmunez Vision. Simply incredible. Everything is right there and explained for you. It's a family organization. Think about your family. Grandparents getting old, kids. You know, maybe you're noticing your kids' eyesight going a little sideways, and it's a concern for you. Get on it. Get on it early. Sure, you can get a normal update for your contacts or your glasses and a prescription, but they offer up so much more, and that includes medical and surgical eye care, including surgery on my right eye 8.5 years ago. Try them out, and better yet, read about them first. Go to Shmunez Vision. Everything right there is explained to you. Phenomenal website and even better people over there at Shmunez. All right, when we do return, let's bring in our buddy J.J. LaSelva. And I'm going to give you my other three. Julius Peppers, Antonio Gates are in. If any one of you out there argue with me, I want to know why. Never going to say you're wrong. Wouldn't do that. But we may issue a drug test, okay? I mean, these guys are in. They are proven. The other 13, you got to take 3. I'm not going to say anything else until we get back, but I tell you, it's going to be a really interesting night as far as the Hall of Fame is concerned. Does Fred Taylor get in? Thoughts on that on the other side.
Great defensive play by Donovan Darius. What a game he's put in.
I'm Donovan Darius.
Donovan Darius, again, we call his name a lot.
1010XL.
Ballou for Shinatri Chiropractic. They've helped me get rid of my headaches and pain in my neck and back. Are you suffering from an auto accident? What about TMJ pain? Headaches associated with jaw clenching, grinding of the teeth, or stress-related disorders? Shinatri Chiropractic has a physical therapist on staff for rehabilitation, quality chiropractic care, dry needling, massage, and acupuncture. Call 743-6700 or go to ShinatriDC.com.
With modern smart home technology, you can control almost everything from the palm of your hand or your voice. Call the experts at Mr. Sparky.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Your on-time electrician, Mr. Sparky of the First Coast.
Hey folks, Mike Dempsey here for Pella Windows and Doors. Look, it's kind of cooling down right now. I love opening my windows up this time of year. If you're looking to upgrade your windows in your home, I want you to visit the Pella showroom on Phillips Highway. Ask about their latest hurricane and impact-resistant windows and doors, rated #1 by Consumer Reports in all 3 main window categories. You want quality, style, and protection? Visit PellaJacks.com and the showroom on Phillips Highway just north of Bay Meadows. That's Pella Windows and Doors online at PellaJacks.com.
A customer with an older home and galvanized piping called saying they had poor water pressure. It smelled bad and was discolored. So we at Duck Duck Rooter sent a highly skilled manager to discuss options. How repiping the water lines would solve the issues. The result? Clean flowing water. Call for your free estimate, 904-862-6769. Visit DuckDuckRooter.com. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jags. Serving commercial and residential, fully insured and certified plumbing contractor.
You sure taking a liking to that radio.
You can't listen all day, every day, but you can catch what you missed on demand.
Go on demand at 1010XL.com.
You have the power to listen when you like.
On demand.
Brought to you by Underdog Fantasy.
Lower mortgage rates are here, and smart homeowners are wiping out all their credit card debt with help from Loan Pronto. Hey, Prosser here. Right now, Loan Pronto has a cash-out refinance rate of just 5.49%. You heard me. That's a huge drop. So you can get refinanced now, get cash out of your home's equity to wipe out all those credit cards and other high-interest loans. You can save hundreds every month with lower payments. Or, if you still have a mortgage rate in the 3s, you can use Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit. Just get the cash you need and leave your primary mortgage intact. Loan Pronto can get you $50, $75, $100, even $200,000 in just a matter of days. Bottom line, Loan Pronto's got several options to help you erase debt and take control of your finances. Call today, and you can even skip your next 2 mortgage payments. Call Loan Pronto now at 904-999-1508, 904-999-1508, or loanpronto.com, 999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, 5.49%, has 6.39 APR, subject to lender approval.
For the first time ever, the Super Bowl will be played in Las Vegas, the sports betting capital of the world. VSiN, the sports betting network, delivers all the betting trends for the big game. Historical analysis, betting tips, prop bet strategies, helping you cash tickets from the national anthem to the Gatorade bath. Download VSiN's free Super Bowl betting guide right now. 1010XL.com. That's 1010XL.com.
Hey, sports fans, this is Hayes Carlyon from MyBookie. The Chiefs and 49ers are gearing up for an epic showdown in Las Vegas, and you've got a front row seat with MyBookie. Whether you're aiming to cash in on the big game or just looking to have a good time with friends, MyBookie brings a true Vegas experience straight to you. With a huge selection of pregame bets, you can wager on everything from the opening coin toss to the color of Taylor Swift's sweater. MyBookie is a platform that offers something for everyone. You don't need to be a pro to turn sports and pop culture knowledge into real cash in your wallet. Sign up, make your first deposit today using promo code 1010XL, and choose from a variety of welcome offers to find one that suits your playstyle. You've got options. If you're itching for a sportsbook and casino that amplifies the thrill and maximizes your winnings, MyBookie is your MVP. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere from MyBookie. Don't forget that promo code 1010XL.
This is Keith Catlin for Catlin Truck Accessories, and we are so blessed to be in business for over 100 years. Over 100 years of the best product and customer service means you can count on Catlin. From Roll-and Lock bed covers to Lear toppers to cam locker toolboxes, Catlin Truck Accessories has you covered when it comes to your truck or van. We do those too. Got a fleet of vehicles? We can outfit them all.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
One name, one location, 100 years. You can count on Catlin.
February is Cancer Prevention Month, and Ackerman Cancer Center will help you take charge of your well-being. Their new location at World Golf Village off I-95 now provides screenings for prostate, bladder, and colorectal cancers. Visit AckermanCancerCenter.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, with you tonight till 8. We'll make a trip out to Las Vegas next hour. Get into it with our good buddy Rafael Esparza, who's been all over Radio Row. The 1917 says performance-enhancing drugs for Julius Peppers. And I have no memory of that, but it doesn't matter in the NFL. It would absolutely matter in Major League Baseball. It has no bearing on the NFL. You just looked up the story, J.J. LaSalva. What happened with him again?
So there was an Al Jazeera documentary that named this doctor, let me find his name, Dr. Dale Geyer. And the report claimed a number of pro athletes, including NFL players, James Harrison, Julius Peppers, and Clay Matthews were all named as being under this doctor's care and taking PEDs. Yeah. But the NFL later cleared all 3 players, whatever that's worth.
Steroids have no bearing on the NFL.
2016, by the way.
Steroids will keep you out of Major League Baseball. You know what has more bearing on the NFL? Taking ounces out of a football than taking steroids. I'm being serious here. I'm being 100% serious here. You get more on Deflategate than you will anyone with PED. You think if Cam Robinson, all of a sudden, if the light was to go on, he put up Pro Bowl after Pro Bowl after Pro Bowl year and did it for the next 7, 8, 10 years, became the best left tackle in the NFL, and you were getting ready to put him in the Hall of Fame, you look back and say, yeah, but he got popped for 4 games. back in no. Would not care. It's amazing how different both sports are. That is everything in baseball. All right, let's get to tonight. 5 will get in. Hall of Fame. Again, first-time ballot. Antonio Gage, Julius Peppers, both are in. End of conversation. Here's where I'm going. And listen, Fred Taylor's next for running backs. I don't think it's tonight. Could happen. I mean, how cool would it be? But I just don't think it's tonight. The next thing you need, besides running backs, is you need to start to see a run of wide receivers. Very credible, very dominant wide receivers in their era who remain up for the Hall of Fame. And, I'm thinking long-term here, obviously, for Jimmy Smith. I still think for Jimmy, it's probably 6 or 7 years away. But you need to start crossing names off. So I've given this a lot of thought. And I'm not going to say that I've cheated because I don't know. None of us know. But I've done a lot of research on it. And I've read a lot. And I'm starting to hear 2 names. And that's the reason why I took away from my original plan, which was to take 2 wide receivers tonight and then 1 other position player. I'm unfortunately going to go to just 1 wide receiver tonight. I'm going to go with Reggie Wayne. 1,070 receptions, 14,345 yards, and 82 career touchdowns. He's right there with Torrey Holt, who I've seen that a lot of people are putting in. He's right there with Andre Johnson, who, frankly, I think with what they did as far as players, I think Andre Johnson was the best of the 3. That's just they were all really, really good. But they all need to get in. And you need to have Hines Ward get in, and you need to have Steve Smith get in, and you need to have Anquan Bolden get in. You need to get these guys in. And when that happens, then it's going to become Jimmy Smith. He's going to be the next man up. But there's just too many wide receivers, and that's why it's that much harder for Jimmy to get in than it is for Fred Taylor. He is absolutely positively, he's there with Tiki Barber as the next running back. But I'm going to go Reggie Wayne, number 3. I'm going to take another Kane at number 4. And this is where I will admit I have been influenced over the last couple of years. I picked him last year, Devin Hester, because everything that I was reading was saying he's in. I think this is the year. I could be wrong 2 years in a row. For the record, I would not put him in over Torrey Holt or Andre Johnson. I would not put him in over Fred Taylor. He was a fringe player. He was a phenomenal return man, the best that we have ever seen. But I still don't think I would put him ahead of the guys that I just mentioned. I do think he gets in tonight at number 4. Number 5 for me is a short career. It's a Tony Baselli. It's a Gale Sayers. It's a Dwight Stevenson. It's a very short career in the NFL. And the reason for this, and I've read a lot, he only played 8 years. But Patrick Willis played for San Francisco, even though the voting was in before the actual, announcement was made. I keep hearing that Patrick Willis was so dominant in such a short period of time. If you read between the lines and you were to replace the name, Patrick Willis sounds like Tony Baselli. And we kept making the claim for Baselli. What's it going to take? Well, he was around great players. He was there with Ogden and Rofe, and he was there with Pace, and he was there with Armstrong, and he was there with who else am I forgetting? I mean, just Walter Jones. He was there with so many dominant left tackles. Okay? Patrick Willis is in a very similar category. If you look at his success in a short period of time, I think he becomes the 5th man to get in tonight. Again, I wanted to do who I think should get in and who I think is going to get in. Instead, I've just turned it around to simply who I do think is going to get in. So, Antonio Gates, Julius Peppers, 1 and 2. First year on the ballot for those two gentlemen. They get in. Reggie Wayne starts to take away from that wide receiver pool. You as a Jaguar fan, of course, you want Fred Taylor to get in. Next to that, if you could get 2 wide receivers to go in tonight, dare I say 3 wide receivers go in tonight, then it's just that much better for Jimmy Smith. You got to start to get some guys rolling in, and I think it's going to happen tonight with Reggie Wayne, but don't be surprised if Andre Johnson and or Torrey Holt get elected. I'll take Wayne at 3, Devin Hester at 4, Patrick Willis at number 5. Agree, disagree? Anyone that you would add to the list, JJ?
No, I don't know about Patrick Willis, but I don't hate that. I think Devin Hester, like you, I don't think he should be a Hall of Famer. I don't like any special teams guys. I don't like the kickers that are in. They barely play. But if you're going to give it to a guy, a return specialist, it obviously has to be him. He's the best. And, we're getting rid of the kickoff, so he'll probably be the best forever. I guess it was like Monday or Tuesday when we saw those reports that he's like a lock to get in. I didn't think he would be, but now I'm like, all right, so check him. Mm-hmm. Next year, I think it's Marshawn as the only other running back. And at first I was like, oh, he's not a Hall of Famer. But then you look at his stats and you're like, 5-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro. This guy had like 80-something touchdowns, a ring. Like Marshawn might have a better resume than Freddie T. I don't know if they would put both of them in. I think it's important. I think it's important he gets in this year, because then it's Frank Gore after that.
After that, it's Frank Gore and Adrian Peterson.
Oh my God, AP.
Yeah, that's still a couple years away.
A long time to retire. I forgot about those last few years.
Yeah, they both got out officially. Well, it says here Adrian Peterson played in 2021. Let me look at his career. Didn't he just take like a couple of snaps?
Yeah,
he did. He played. He had 38 carries for 98 yards in 2021. He played on 2 teams. He played on Tennessee and Seattle.
Wow. Very forgettable.
Well, that's another great bar bet, is running backs where they ended up their career.
Right. Wasn't Freddie T in New England?
He was. But like Franco Harris.
No idea.
Seattle. Tony Dorsett.
No idea.
Denver.
Oh, wow.
Emmitt Smith.
Arizona?
Got it.
He was there for at least a few years, I think.
Mm-hmm. Curtis Martin. Curtis Martin actually.
I only remember the Jets.
Yeah, he played New England for 3 years and in New York for the remainder.
Okay.
Of his career, so he may have been one of the exceptions to the rule. But anyway, it is pretty interesting if you look at it that way. So. As we wrap this up, let me give you one wild card, okay? And again, this is from reading or researching, not my own pick. Don't be shocked if Jahari Evans gets in tonight. If you were ranking him 1 through 15, I think a lot of people would rank Jahari Evans at probably 15.
Is he the guard?
Yes, because he's a guard.
Nobody knows it.
Right.
Like any of those players, we don't know. When we're watching, we're not paying attention. We don't know if you're good or not as an lineman unless you're getting Olayed and, flags thrown on you. But this guy, didn't he make like 6 All-Pro teams or something crazy like that?
He made 4 first-team All-Pros and 6 Pro Bowls. He was part of the 2010 All-Decade team. And, he traveled at the end. He played 9 years in New Orleans and then spent, the final 2 years in Seattle and Green Bay, kind of went back and forth, played a little bit, came back to New Orleans in 2016. But, yeah, he's a guard. And, unless you're John Hanna or Larry Allen, unless you're just a spectacular guard, you mentioned kickers. I mean, I guess if you were to look at it by position, I would have to think, even though there's 2 of them, obviously on the left and right side, that the overall guard position would be way down offensively, unless it's, old school back in the day of leather helmets and that type of style. I'm talking about since we've got to the 16-game regular season, how many guards are actually in the NFL. I think the cat from Pittsburgh a couple of years ago, whose name escapes, and begins with an F, his last name, may have been the last guard to actually get in the Hall of Fame with the Pittsburgh Steelers. But there you have it. That is my look at it. Gates, Peppers, Reggie Wayne, Devin Hester, and Patrick Willis. If you want to agree and or disagree with that, you absolutely can. The best way to get us is 641-1010 on the text line. All right, tonight's show brought to you by the good folks over at Patriot Roofing Services, specializing in all types of commercial and residential roofing and repairs, gutters, sun tubes, skylights, 10-year workmanship warranty. Just give my buddy Mark Tizzolo a call, 982-4052. That's 982-4052. Or better yet, just check them out online. Again, the best way to do it, just go to Patriot Roofing, whether it is your home or your business. If you need a new roof, sure, or if you need roof repairs, go to Patriot Roofing Services.
The action. The motion.
You see that acceleration.
Feel the active emotion of live play-by-play.
It's amazing how much energy.
On 1010XL.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet love our community. That's right, we spread the love by giving back, and every year we give hundreds of thousands of dollars to our local community. Plus, we give all our customers lots of love, too. Every new vehicle purchase comes with a 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty, and every certified pre-owned vehicle comes with a 7-year, 100,000-mile loving warranty. Plus, we give the most loving for your trade. Help us to continue to spread the love and head to Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville. We're here to wow you and give back.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
We don't have too many cold nights on the First Coast, but when the temperature drops, you want to hit the heat button and warm up. That's where Florida Home comes in. They're the AC experts in Jacksonville, and the importance of keeping your heating system in good working order is really important. If it stops working when it gets cooler, Florida Home will leap into action and provide you with the best solution. Heater and heat pump repair service and new system installation. They do it all. Just call Florida Home AC at 777-4300, the official heating and AC partner of the Jaguars.
The First Coast Games is an annual corporate challenge to introduce fun activities into the workplace and focus on your employees' health and wellness goals, with some friendly competition, of course. Registration is now open through the First Coast YMCA for both recreational and challenge divisions, including pickleball, cornhole, volleyball, flag football, and other team sports. The games will begin in March. Register your company and teams at fcymca.org.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On February 8, 1991, Terry Norris knocks down Sugar Ray Leonard twice and beats him to defend his WBC Super Welterweight title.
I'm Sheriff T.K. Waters with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. We're currently hiring for police, corrections, 911 dispatchers, and various civilian jobs. And for a limited time, JSO is offering a hiring incentive of up to $10,000 for police and corrections applicants. Details are available at joinjso.com. I invite you to apply today and start your journey as a law enforcement professional, helping us drive down crime and foster positive relationships with citizens. Are you ready to be a part of the solution? The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office is an equal opportunity, equal access employer.
The Bulls are back in town and taking over Jacksonville. Get ready for bull bucking mayhem at VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena, February 23rd and 24th. U.S. Border Patrol PBR Jacksonville is bringing the city 2 nights of bull riding action, featuring the most electric 8 seconds in sports. Come see the toughest sport on dirt at VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena, February 23rd and 24th. Get your tickets today at pbr.com or Ticketmaster.
Ever wonder how you can transform your living spaces into captivating works of art? At First Coast Lighting and Fans, they offer a huge selection of high-quality products to match your desire for elegance, quality, and uniqueness. Visit their showroom on Phillips Highway at the Avenues and step into a world of quality without compromise. Discover the difference that locally owned expertise makes and let them help you experience the transformation from average to extraordinary. At First Coast Lighting and Fans.
Prosser here. Have you tried selling your home and it just wouldn't go? Have you thought about selling your home and thought the problems were too much? Let me give you your solution. It's chadandsandy.com. How's this for a promise? All right? This is a promise. Your home sold, guaranteed, or they will buy it. Chad and Sandy have the solution for your problems. In fact, they have the promises. So don't worry about required costly repairs. Nope. Pick your move date. Yes, you can. There are no long-term contracts, and you can cancel at any time. So many satisfied customers out there. How about Lee and Shelley in Deerwood? We heard Chad and Sandy on the radio and called because we needed a miracle. We had to move my mom to assisted living and needed money ASAP to pay for it, but Mom's Condo Association was under litigation, which limited the sale to cash buyers only. Chad and Sandy went to work. They had our money 15 days later. Truly a miracle. Call the agents we trust and recommend. Call Chad and Sandy today at 904-414-6200 or go to chadandsandy.com.
Pross, I'm thinking about changing my name.
Again? You're already the media mogul, the straw that stirs the drink, the Duke of Pablo Bay. Now what?
Refer to me as Dreamfinders Danny Hicken.
What in the blazes? Is this a cash grab?
No, it's just that I believe so much in Dreamfinders Homes. 20 locations in Northeast Florida, official home builder of Jags and Gators. Great opportunity for first-time homeowners.
All right. Dreamfinders Danny it is.
Did I mention the lowest interest rates you can find? Visit dreamfindershomes.com. Now let Dreamfinders Danny celebrate through the majesty of song. Dreamfinders, I believe they will build your home just right.
Make someone's heart pop on Valentine's Day. Show your love with a bouquet of chocolate roses, chocolate-covered popcorn, or a box of decadent truffles. Peterbrook is taking pre-orders for chocolate-covered strawberries. So get your order in and get those hearts popping.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, Deshae Townsend gets a job in Detroit, passing game coordinator. He's the one defensive coach I hated to say goodbye to. Thought he did a really good job in the contain. And he was a big part of them going from 9 takeaways to 27 takeaways 2 years ago. And then, again, kept it around the same number this past year. It just got kind of ruined in the whole plus-minus ratio because, Trevor Lawrence himself had 21 turnovers. And, of course, the team also had quite a few fumbles. Mike Caldwell, the Raiders linebacker coach, so we're starting to see some former guys get gigs elsewhere. I was a big fan of Deshae Townsend. And, even you had two guys who gave you, 27 sacks with Allen and Walker, you get nothing. You got nothing. And, again, that's on Trent Baalke, who did just an awful job, allowing Arden Key to leave, banking on DeJuan Smoot, who wasn't ready. Using a 5th-round pick on an undersized end who didn't even play, and Yasir Abdul, it was terrible, and that's on him. But it cost Deshae Townsend his job. I thought Deshae did enough, and obviously with Nielsen coming in, it's going to be a different style within that secondary. We don't know what to expect. It's going to be very intriguing to try to figure that out. The 0237 says, Blue, why such a big deal? It would only be one home game. We're talking about internationally here. The other 2 would be away games. Well, it's a big deal because of this. You go into another country, man. Things happen. Change, jet lag, getting adjusted. No one wants to go there. You know who wants to go there? Some fans. You know who wants to go there? Players' wives. You know who wants to go to London? Shad Khan. No one else wants to go to London. London sucks. There's nothing good about London. The people are rude. I know it's east. It's east of Boston and New York. And they're rude like people like where I come from. They're rude. The weather's terrible. No one wants to go to London. And now you're going to want to go to Brazil? Why? Why would you want to go to Brazil? If you want to go to Brazil, take a vacation. Why would you want to go to Brazil to play a football game? No, this is a disaster. Totally disagree with you. 100%. And so you're not worried. You're like, no big deal. I don't know. Do you enjoy playing your football games? I mean, 2 of your games every year at 9:30 a.m.?
Brazil will be normal.
Right, but do you have a life? Do you watch college football? I used to love the Pac-12 after drive. I mean, you got to shut it down at 8 a.m.
And
to get up for a 9:30 toe meets leather on Sunday.
To me, I understand that, like, you do get a quote-unquote advantage in not having to play 2 away teams at their own. Like, you didn't have to go to Buffalo and play in front of that crowd.
I'll give you that.
That's an advantage, but
I'll give you that.
To me, it's such a disadvantage to have to spend 3 out of your 17 weeks on the road. And I'm not talking like, going to play the Falcons. You are going to Sao Paulo or wherever the hell they're playing it. That is such a far trip, man. Like, that's going to affect you the next week. You only have 1 bye week. You're going to have 2 London games. We're assuming you take the bye week after that. So that's a mess, man. Like, I get you're not going to be playing in front of these home crowds, which is an advantage. But to me, the travel is too much of a disadvantage.
It
will
be
terrible.
Yeah.
And I would hope the Players Association, not the Jags. I hope because the Jags, they're just, them. They'll take whatever for cash, I feel like.
The Jags have no voice. And you're gonna find that out.
And they whore themselves out to all these, like, international stuff. So, like, of course they're willing to do it, but I hope the Players Association is like, this isn't right. Like, we can't make our players on one team travel like this.
But that's the point. Enough is enough. Enough of, it's like, are you old enough to remember Mikey? Give it to Mikey. He'll eat it. The whole, the Life cereal stuff.
Oh, my gosh, I do.
The Jaguars are Mikey. Yeah. Okay? Oh, make the Jaguars the first organization that's going to get 2 row. Give them a third. Stick them in Brazil. Stop it. Stop it. Play your games in the United States. The greed of the owners, the greed of Roger Goodell to tell us that we're going to have freaking games in Brazil. Who the hell wants to have an NFL game in Brazil? But the Jaguars take it. If you find out again it's a home and away, no voice. They're going to say either they're working out a deal because of Shad Khan's love for London, but you've got to be kidding me. If again they're going to get a home and away in London. No, you did it. You just did it. You play 1 game there and you fly back. None of this stay there and play a second game. It's not an advantage. It was an advantage you missed Buffalo, but it's not going to be an advantage. And you know why no one says anything now? Because they won both games. Imagine if they lost them, what would be said? You know how people change. What if they go over there this year and lose a couple of games? People will be furious about it. Second hour coming up. My buddy Danny Van Sickle's going to drop by. Also, we go live to Las Vegas. Check in with Rafael Esparza.
What's this stuff? Some cereal. It's supposed to be good for you. Did you try it? I'm not going to try it. You try it. I'm not going to try it. Let's get Mikey. Yeah. He won't eat it. He hates everything.
In the jungle, the only way a lion survives, not by acting like a king, by being the king.
1010XL.
Ballou here for Smunez Vision. Why Smunez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smunez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smunez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smunez is fellowship trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmunezVision.com today. Here you can see.
Prosser here for Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. It's getting chilly outside, but you can enjoy the outside inside with a new glass lanai from Lifetime Enclosures, or look ahead and get that backyard ready for spring with a new screened-in enclosure. Maximize the space you have and make it great with Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. They truly are the best in the business. Give them a call today. Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Showroom just off Phillips Highway. Tell them Prosser sent you. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville. I know Honda, they're so cool on the road and off the road, but guess what? Tell them about them being on the water.
There is an all-new Honda boat coming out. We went out and partnered with Scout, who's been making the finest holes in the business for years. They're fuel efficient, dynamic, and class leading.
So Honda is in the boat business, and you will see boats coming to Cycles of Jacksonville soon.
We will have them in the spring, ready to go.
CyclesofJacksonville.com. Keep track of all of it. Find them on Atlantic near Regency.
When it rains, it better drain. If storm drains on your commercial property aren't doing their job, this is a major liability that needs to be corrected. Call Duck Duck Rooter to have your storm drains jetted and cleaned with our powerful vac con truck. We'll clear the way for better drainage. Call 904-862-6769. Visit DuckDuckRooter.com. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jags. Duck Duck Rooter, your fully insured certified plumbing and underground utility contractor.
Is your phone plan messing with your savings plan? Don't get stuck paying for things you don't want. With Verizon, you only pay for what you need. And for a limited time, when you bring your own phones to a Verizon store, you'll get an amazing price on your plan. Plus, you'll save on things you actually love, like the Netflix and Max with Ads bundle. And it's on our award-winning 5G network. Bring your phones to your Verizon store today for an incredible deal. A better plan to save is Verizon. Additional terms and conditions apply.
It's Mardi Gras all February long at the Blue Crab Crab House. About Creole and Cajun entrees like black and red fish with creamy shrimp sauce, oysters Bienville, shrimp étouffée, shrimp and sausage gumbo, Creole fried catfish. It goes on and on and on. It is the one, the only Blue Crab Crab House. February, non-stop Mardi Gras. The Blue Crab Crab House, right off of San Jose on Jewington Creek Road.
QC Kinetics patient Robert Patterson, a veteran and business owner, struggled at work and in the gym with chronic agonizing shoulder pain.
Those injuries just continue to nag, and if you don't treat them, they just get worse. And I just kind of abused my body for a long time, and it finally had said enough is enough.
That's okay, because QC Kinetics tells your pain, hey, enough is enough. Their regenerative treatments bring you relief by helping restore and repair damaged tissue with no drugs, no downtime, and best of all, no surgery.
I was able to exceed the goals that I had previously attained in the gym. It was absolutely worth its weight in gold, so I could continue to live life without limitation.
Ready to get lasting relief from your joint pain? Call QC Kinetics to learn more about how natural biologic treatments can get you lasting results. Call now. It's a free consultation.
904-274-5522. QC Kinetics. 904-274-5522.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
For the first time ever, the Super Bowl will be played in Las Vegas, the sports betting capital of the world. VSiN, the sports betting network, delivers all the betting trends for the big game. Historical analysis, betting tips, prop bet strategies, helping you cash tickets from the national anthem to the Gatorade bath. Download VSiN's free Super Bowl betting guide right now. 1010XL.com. That's 1010XL.com.
Looking for a new or used firearm? Beaches Jewelry and Pawn in Jacks Beach will get you locked and loaded. New firearms coming in weekly, and always looking for used guns. No lines and no waiting. Online at beachesjewelryandpawn.com.
Lauren Brooks here from Mayport CNC Fisheries. Growing up at the beach, I know good shrimp and oysters when I see them. It's local and it's fresh. That's why Mayport CNC Fisheries is my go-to for both. They have local shrimp in stock daily and fresh boxes of oysters. Eat like a local at Mayport CNC Fisheries.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Let's go into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, later in the hour, Rafael Esparza joins us live from Las Vegas. We'll take a look at the latest on the money as well as the props as we get closer to Super Bowl 58. My buddy Danny Van Sickle has popped by. Good to see you.
Good to see you, buddy.
Director of the Electrical Training Alliance. So you guys got a big event coming up again towards the end of May. You'll tell us about that in just a little bit. But you've been busy. What's going on out there?
Just, resetting the second half of the year. Of course, our students, like a lot of students, they're ready to finish out this year and move on to their next year and get that extra pay that comes with it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And an increase. We were talking about that today. I mean, Give us the latest as far as the numbers now, all beginning with Electrical Training Alliance.
Yeah, so when you get into the program right now, you're making over $40,000 a year, and then you're going to get a raise every single year. You get paid a percentage of what the top pay is. And so I tell groups all the time, I went through the apprenticeship, and one of the biggest benefits is a lot of people, they work jobs, server jobs, and after 6 months or a year, you go to your boss and you say, hey, I'm a good employee. Can I get a quarter, 50 cents? Man, there's none of that with us. You know exactly how much money you're going to make every single year. All you have to do is work your hours, make your good grades, and you know that you're going to get a raise the next year. And it's an awesome thing.
And getting into a trade is something that's never going to go away, and that's certainly the case in being an electrician, being in that field.
I love it, man. Everything I have, I owe back to the school, and it's given me a great trade.
All right, we'll give you some of those details in a little bit. But coming up in a couple of hours, the show begins at 8. I have a feeling the announcement will probably be sometime between 9 and 9:30. Fred Taylor, does he get into tonight's National Football League Hall of Fame?
I think he should, but I don't think he will. Just by listening, it doesn't sound like the overwhelming support is there. Obviously, what really hurts him was, man, when he played, there was just a bunch of great running backs at the same time. He should have way more Pro Bowls than what he has. But he was there when Ezra and James was at his prime. I mean, he was there with Marshall Faulk. He was there with these great, great running backs. But, that's the great thing really about YouTube. You can see a lot of great clips of him, and the separation speed that he had whenever he was playing, it was just unmatched. He didn't have to be a bruiser. He would just run away from you, but he was so thick and so big that he wasn't just a third down back that you would bring in to get you some yards. He could run between the tackles, but most of the times he was running so fast they couldn't even catch him.
Yeah, and, I think of great college backs, and I had Sammy Smith on last week. We talked about his new book. I thought he was Dalvin Cook's the greatest back that Florida State's ever had. Worked probably would get as much recognition. But Sammy was big and he was strong. And, I look at the Florida backs, man. I look at guys like Emmett and Eric Recht and all of them. Fred Taylor was big and he was strong. He was fast, man. He was electrifying. And he took that with him in the NFL. And he also showed an incredible amount of patience. And it felt like Le'Veon Bell got all that credit for – it's like, go back and watch Fred Taylor with that dominant Jacksonville offensive line. He could have run right through it or right to it, but there were times where he let them finish their blocks and he would hit the hole.
He did, and he had freakish speed. So he had that twitch to him. He could kind of, when he would get the ball, maybe do a stutter step. Some of the complaints I have about, when I watch Florida State's backs now play is a lot of times they just kind of dance back there trying to find something, and they end up getting tackled for a loss. They don't have the kind of speed that the Fred Taylor does. So he could do that back there, and he wasn't going to get tackled for a loss because he had a burst to him, and he would shoot right up, find that gap, and then he'd be off to the races.
Who are you going to pick on Sunday?
I'm picking the Chiefs to win.
Yeah.
Not necessarily rooting for them, to be honest with you, but it'd be a nice story to see the 49ers win. But, man, just whenever you think that the Chiefs, they had their worst season ever, they lost to teams they shouldn't have lost to, the offensive production is down, you know what? Them dudes find a way to win, man. And until you beat them, until you show that they can't win, it's kind of hard to pick against them.
It's one of the very few times that I'm actually more interested after the game than I am with the game. Not by much, but that whole Andy Reid thing fascinates me. The whole Travis Kelce thing fascinates me. Are they going to be able to pay and re-sign Chris Jones, who becomes the most attractive, I think, free agent in this year's market? And you keep thinking this team is going to get picked apart. We saw with Brady and Belichick got picked apart, but they remained. Why do I believe that Kelce stays another year, Andy Reid stays another year?
Because
Chris Jones, they're not going to be able to afford Chris Jones.
It's what they do. They figure it out. They figure out a way to move things around and to get the right players in place. And then they also utilize their players. You look at Pacheco. I mean, there's nothing super special, you know. He doesn't cost you a ton of money, but he gets you just as much production as a lot of big-name backs that you would have to pay a lot of money for. And they use that money that they save on him to sign these other players.
Danny Van Sickle stopped in the studio. He's with the Electrical Training Alliance. An unbelievable opportunity if you're looking for a change in careers, maybe college is not for you. Maybe you're in college, it's too expensive, you're looking for a trade. We're going to give you the unbelievable information again coming up here in just one moment. But Danny as well, a big Florida State fan. You're married to a Gator. You told us you're going to Tennessee, Florida, in Knoxville. You're going to South Bend, Indiana for Florida State.
I am.
I'm
going to go to the great Midwest. I'm going to get to see the 24-hour cloud cover that they have there. I'm going to get to endure the cold of southern Indiana in early November. But no, it's obviously being able to go to that stadium and see a game is a bucket list item. They are quasi members of the ACC. They're not real full-time members in football, but part of their agreement was they play 5 ACC games a year, and the way how the rotation worked out, it would be Florida State this year. I did see them on Labor Day weekend 2 years ago. Great game. They just couldn't pull it out right there at the very end. I saw them several years ago in Tallahassee when Brian Kelly had another great team, and they really had Florida State beat. And there was a pick play right there at the very end, and Florida State was able to pull that one out as well.
The Admiral's son. David
Robinson's
Robinson's
son was on that team.
He's the one who had the pick.
That's right.
But he's either the one who created the pick or caught the touchdown, and they called it back on him.
Yeah, and then he caught a touchdown earlier in that game on the other side.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've had a lot of tense moments watching them. But, I mean, again, it's Notre Dame. And, a lot of people think that Notre Dame is overrated, and they can be at times. But I tell you, they find a way to they don't compete for the national championship every year, but they're not Nebraska. They're not averaging 6 to 7 losses a year either. They'll have 1 to 2 losses, and every couple of years they'll come up with a magical season. They've made the playoffs a couple of times, and it'll just be a fun time going up there and checking out that game.
All right, battle of emotions for Florida State, everything this year, on the field, off the field, and things seem to be pointing upward again after a good recruiting class and a solid transfer portal. Where are you with Florida State and the Atlantic Coast Conference? What are you hoping for here?
Well, if you look at back when Florida State got in the league in 1992, it was very well documented that they went to that league on purpose. Bobby Bowden was quoted as saying, I'd rather play in the ACC than play in the SEC. And for many years, that really worked out for us. But there seems to be kind of a narrative out there that just Florida State had an easy path every single year. And if you look at who they played and when they won their national championships, the first one that they won in 1993, the best team in the SEC was Florida, and they beat them. Mm-hmm. The next national championship that they won in 1999, Florida was the best team in the SEC. They beat them again. In 2013, when they won the national championship, Auburn was the SEC champion, and Florida State beat them. So I'm not saying that if Florida State had played in the SEC all those years that they would have the same amount of wins that they have now. If you're a college football fan, everybody recognizes that is the best conference. And I just think now that that relationship has run its course. If you look at the college football playoff invitational, and that's what I'm going to call it, it was an invitational, not a playoff. Right. One of the things that constantly got brought up, besides the Jordan Travis injury, was the strength of schedule. They said Alabama had the 4th best schedule. Florida State had the 55th best schedule. And it never really hurt them before having that weaker schedule because they still had great teams. And they were still able to, compete and play for championships. But I think this year was kind of an eye-opener. I think they really saw this year that playing in that league. And it's always been below the SEC, but I think the gap now between the Big Ten and the SEC, which are right near beside each other, and the ACC has just gotten so hard that even when you go undefeated, and even if you are the ACC champion, that doesn't mean you're getting in.
Yeah.
And I know what people are going to say. Well, there's a 12-team playoff. It'll be easier to get in. If you were to see the 12 teams right now, I guarantee you probably 9 would be SEC Big Ten teams that get in. Mm-hmm. So that leaves you 3 chances. And I just think that relationship has run its course. And football is just so big. And if you look at the SEC and Big Ten, the games that they play in, Florida State fans like myself, we just want to be a part of it. People on this station have said, hey, listen, you don't want to go to the SEC or the Big Ten. You're going to have a bunch of unhappy Saturdays if you go there compared to the ACC. I got news for them. I've had plenty of unhappy Saturdays in the ACC. I've had unhappy Saturdays in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Oh, the snake pit.
I've had unhappy Saturdays in Syracuse. I had a very unhappy Friday night in Boston College at a high school stadium in front of 35,000 that I was at. I had an unhappy Saturday night in Georgia Tech in front of 40,000 engineers and watched a blocked field goal.
I was in London
loss.
when that happened.
Right.
So
you know what? If we're going to have unhappy Saturdays, give me some unhappy Saturdays in Tuscaloosa. Give me some unhappy Saturdays in Ann Arbor. Give me some unhappy Saturdays in Oxford, Mississippi. Let me see the Grove. And so when I hear, and it's mostly people who, don't like Florida State because they're probably Florida fans, and they'll say, you don't want to come into that SEC. I mean, you're going to have about 3 or 4 losses a year. Well, as much as I appreciate you worried about my psyche, we'll take our chances because if you look at us, you can only play who you play, right? We played LSU the last 2 years, beat them both times. Played Florida the last 2 years. We've beat them both times. If you really didn't want FSU to join the SEC, then why would you be mad about them having 4 or 5 more losses? If anything, you should want them to join your league.
Yeah.
You should want them to have 3 or 4 more losses. So that leads me to believe at the end of the day, they don't want us in those leagues because they can't say the things that they said before and the revenue. And listen, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an administrator at FSU. But if you read, you see that the revenue distribution in the ACC is significantly less than the SEC and the Big Ten.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
And it's only going to get bigger. So if FSU is doing what it's doing now and it's making $20 million less, $25 million less, imagine what FSU could be if it made just as much money as those other teams.
It was announced today that all 14 teams of the current standing members of the Southeastern Conference, $51.3 million came in today. That was announced and distributed to each during the fiscal year. And, this doesn't include everything, but nonetheless, this story just popped in right before I went to air. I think the big concern about Florida State and the Atlantic Coast Conference is this. If they win the conference, they're in. But just a scenario, okay? You're going to put 5 conference champions in. You're going to put in 7 at-larges. Let's say Florida State has a great year, but they lose at Notre Dame. Let's say they beat Clemson, but they have an ACC championship game, and it's a rematch, and it's Florida State-Clemson. Florida State's ranked top 8. They have a loss to Notre Dame, which is late in November. They lose to Clemson, and they're 11-2, and they're ranked 10, 11, 12, whatever. There's no guarantee that they get an at-large bid like you're going to get from the SEC and the Big Ten, especially with this new platform, with this new app that is coming in. I think the same thing applies to the Big 12. It may be you have to win that conference, period, and at-large bids are not going to come from the Big 12 and are not going to come from the ACC. They're only going to come from the SEC and Big 10.
And college football is changing at such a rapid pace. You look at the legislation, you look at NIL. If you wait too long, it's going to pass you by. If you're a team like Florida State, you have to start striking while the iron is hot now. And I don't think that the Southeastern Conference wants FSU in it. They don't need them. They make enough money without them. They already have a presence in the University of Florida.
Makes sense.
But, the great Frank Frangie made a great point. FSU is just as SEC as anybody else when it comes to geography.
Yeah.
FSU is closer to Tuscaloosa. It's closer to Oxford. It's closer to Baton Rouge than what Florida is. So that what leads me to think is you're probably going to see, if there's a change and if the lawsuits work their way out, I wouldn't be surprised to see them join the Big Ten. Now, would I love for them to join the SEC? Of course. But I think that the Big Ten, they're going to try to promote themselves as a national conference, right? They already had the Midwest. They've added 2 teams in California, 2 teams in the Pacific Midwest. A couple years ago, they added D.C. They've added New York. There is only one area of the country that the Big Ten is not in, and that is the southeastern United States of America. And if you could get FSU in the Big Ten and you could get that market, you're the only game in town when it comes to Big Ten. I think the eyeballs that would bring with that, and I think that if they don't get in the Big Ten, it'll be because the SEC is not going to want them to get in the Big Ten. And even though they may not want FSU in their league, I don't think the SEC wants the Big Ten in the state of Florida.
Yeah, and that would hurt with recruiting. That would hurt with some other things. But I know what you're saying. It's bigger markets to go to Atlanta, to go to Charlotte, to go to the Virginia or the D.C. market. Go to Miami. They don't need Florida State. I think it just comes down. Obviously, they don't need Florida. I think it just comes down to, can you allow Florida State to go to the Big Ten? And I think that's what the battle is going to end up being. All right, we got a couple of minutes left. My good buddy Danny Van Sickle here with the Electrical Training Alliance. Give us the very latest. What's going on over there?
Yep, so we take applications all year. So you can right now go and apply on our website that I'm going to give the address to later. But our deadline for our summer fall class is going to be May 23rd. So you got a few more months, but don't wait till the last minute because there's some paperwork that you have to submit whenever you go to apply with us. You don't want to wait until May 22nd to find out you can't find your birth certificate or some of the other documentation that we need. So if you're a high school senior right now, you can still get in the apprenticeship and apply even if you haven't graduated high school. All you need is a letter from your guidance counselor saying you're on track to graduate. And even though we get a lot of high schoolers, we also get a lot of men and women that are in their mid-30s. And they're working at a warehouse or they're working someplace, and it's not minimum wage by no means, but they've kind of plateaued at where they're at. And they see how much money that you can make being an electrician, and it's time for a career change. And if you're at that age, you still have a lot of good working years left and a good opportunity to start on that pension right now. And it's not too late to change.
What's a pension?
So for every hour that you work, money goes into a fund.
We don't get pension on radio,
Are
bro.
you kidding me?
Yeah, so, I mean, no tuition.
No
Just
tuition,
books.
No student debt. You just pay for the books.
Oh, man, the student debt. It took me forever to pay off my student loans.
Yeah,
And I was married at the time, trying to pay off my ex-wife's student loans. Student loans are awful.
Yeah,
They really are.
And you know what? There's a paperwork that you have to fill out when you're in high school. It's called FAFSA. That's with the federal government, and you got to fill it out when you go to college. They ask you a lot of, personal questions about your home life and the income of your parents and things like that. Man, there is none of that with us. We want you to come to work on time, show up every day, and have a good attitude and work hard when you get there. We don't care less what your background is. We don't care where you come from. Do you want to work, and do you want to get paid good money?
Well, there's a lot of great people. I know people that you work with, certainly the people from Miller Electric and the Miller Electric facility and the new Miller Electric Center, but it's not going away, man. Just drive around this town. Everywhere you look, there is massive amounts of building and construction. This is a trade that's always going to be here.
And if you look at the manpower itself, if you look at the amount of people that have left the trades the last couple of years compared to the amount of people that are coming into the trade now, there is a big gap there. You can go to the Department of Labor and look at those statistics. There is a need for skilled trades, not just electricians, plumbing, pipe fitting, carpentry, a lot of trades out there. We feel like our trade is the best, obviously, and we feel like that if you go through our process becoming an electrician, there's a great need for that, and there's good money to be paid out there, and it's a trade, and once you learn it, it can't be taken from you.
All right, Danny, what's the best way for our listeners to get a hold of you?
Best thing to do is go to our website, etajax.org. We've got pictures there. We got information about us. You can apply there. You don't even have to come down to our school to apply anymore. You can do your application there, and you can really start to learn about us and get that ball rolling.
Appreciate it. Always good to see you.
You too, buddy.
Danny Van Sickle. He is with the Electrical Training Alliance. Coming up next, let's go live to Las Vegas. Let's take a look at where the money is going. On Super Bowl 58, we'll hear from Rafael Esparza.
It's more than running down stats and catching scores.
We have a brotherhood in here that we worked all year with that we don't want to let down.
Go inside the locker room with Jacksonville Sports Radio, 1010XL.
Mia here for my friends at Window Gang. Having a party for Sunday's big game? There's still time to spruce up the house. And guess what? You don't have to do it yourself. Window Gang will get your home game ready with the pressure washing, window cleaning, gutters, and more of a champion. They are total pros, always on time, great prices, and satisfaction guaranteed. Call their super friendly staff at 262-7300 to get your home ready for the big day. That's 262-7300.
Superior Fence and Rail knows about exceptional customer service. From the first call to the final inspection, Superior's team provides first-class care with great communication, friendly installers, and quality fence products. There's a reason why Superior is the top-rated fence company in Jacksonville. So get off the fence and call Superior Fence and Rail for your new fence today.
When you're on the fence about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Exciting news from Leonard Truck Accessories in Jacksonville on Blanding Boulevard. Stocking brands like Real Truck, UWS, WeatherGuard, carry-on trailers, and more. The best deals with the best prices only at Leonard Truck Accessories on Blanding Boulevard. Leonard, your truck, your style.
Pacifico is brewed for those who let go of the things that don't matter and hold on to the ones that do. That's living life anchors up.
Pacifico, found in Baja, imported by surfers. Ask for a Pacifico when you're ready to live life anchors up.
Pacifico is a crisp golden lager, brewed for those who know. It's what's behind a label that matters.
He thinks he knows what he's talking about.
Of course.
Find out if he does.
Is there anything else we need to know?
Catch CBS Sports senior NFL writer Pete Prisco every Friday afternoon on The Franchi Show. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes. Resolve all your home's plumbing problems today. Fenwick Home Services pros are ready to solve any plumbing emergency that you didn't see coming. From burst pipes to water heater disasters, Fenwick's licensed experts have you covered with same-day, 24/7 solutions. And to help you save on future emergencies, we're offering $50 off any repair. That's right, $50. Schedule your visit online today at FenwickHomeservices.com/radio.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
Now that's what I call high-quality H2O. If you want high-quality H2O in your home, call your local water boy, Keith, at Kenai Water Jacksonville. That's Kenai Water Jacksonville.
Ackerman Cancer Center now offers total body MRI, the latest industry-leading technology. Just one non-invasive scan provides a complete picture of your health to detect and monitor cancer with precision at AckermanCancerCenter.com.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for Instant Keys locksmith service.
If your ride is making strange noises, don't wait and make it worse. Come to Action Transmission on Merrill Road. My expert technicians can diagnose the problem and likely fix it fast. Experience the difference at Action Transmission on Merrill Road.
Family owned and managed for 20 years, Hidden Hills Golf Club boasts a unique and welcoming golfing atmosphere. Visit us at hiddenhillsgc.com to book your next round on our Arnold Palmer signature course. You'll be glad you did.
Dave Binion here with my son Ammon, who is the air duct cleaning manager at Zero Res. So Ammon, you may notice a little rattle in my voice and some puffiness in my eyes. That's because allergy season is coming on. Can Zero Res help?
Yes, your health has a lot to do with the air you breathe. A clean and healthy home begins with clean air. At Zero Res, we can help clean the air in your home by cleaning your air ducts, cleaning the coils in your HVAC units, and fogging the system with a powerful antimicrobial that helps kill and control the growth of microorganisms in your air. We also have options for maintaining your clean air with our excellent inline air purifier and UV lights that will help keep your system clean and healthy. At Zero Res, we are more than just air duct cleaners. We're a clean air specialist.
So, what deals do you have this month?
Right now, get $100 off your air duct cleaning, and while we're at it, we'll give you $50 off your dryer vent cleaning.
Zero Res.
Spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
CEROREC. Zero Res.
Make someone's
heart pop on Valentine's Day. Show your love with a bouquet of chocolate roses, chocolate-covered popcorn, or a box of decadent truffles. Peterbrook is taking pre-orders for chocolate-covered strawberries. So get your order in and get those hearts popping.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
But it's 8 o'clock tonight, tomorrow night as well, till 8. Final preparation before Super Bowl 58. Still waiting on that big story to come out of Vegas, right? Joe Buck told us there would be one. There was breaking news today in the broadcast world. We touched upon it briefly earlier in the week. James Brown did re-up for 2 years. There was some talk that Nate Burleson would take over as the studio host at CBS. Burleson's really, a fast riser in the business. Sorely missed, in my opinion, along with Kay Adams on Good Morning Football. I just nearly as entertaining as it once was. But James Brown is re-up for 2 years. The same can't be said right now for Bill Cowher, Boomer Esiason, and Phil Simms. Their contract comes up immediately after the Super Bowl. And I guess Burleson's contract actually does expire right before the 2024 NFL season begins.
Let's ring up another guest on the All-Pro Roofing phone line.
And is he a busy guy? He is all over the place. He is in Las Vegas. He is from MyBookie and MyBookie.org. He is Rafael Esparzo. Welcome.
Thanks for having me. It's a little bit of a. It's been busy a couple of days.
You got some quiet. What did you find? A closet somewhere in one of those massive hotels?
Yeah, they have a little area for the better Wi-Fi down there. But no one's down here now because it's only this is kind of the main hour right now. So everyone's big celebrity. But so you can come down here, you get a nice cup of coffee or drink, and a whole bunch of plugs, charging stations. So every time I've been doing interview outside of upstairs, I come down here.
All right, so you've been there all week, Radio Row. I've been to many in my lifetime. Obviously, I'm not there. I'll be there next week to see you two at the Sphere. But what's the craziest thing you've seen all week out there?
Oh, wow. The craziest thing? I would think Monday, we were interviewing the players on the field and stuff like that. I was standing right next to the guy that asked Patrick Mahomes, how was his dad?
Well, you knew it was going to happen, yeah. All right, that is unfortunate. Now, you guys are always ahead of everything else. Did you do any, either at MyBookie or on your website, you can bet that too, or you can bet on that, anything on the Hall of Fame, which the 5 inductees will be announced tonight?
No, if I was at home and had more time, I probably would have. I'm so behind on extra prop bets that people have been telling me to do every station, every table I went by. I probably would have done some Hall of Fame stuff. I just, when you're here, you just go to table to table to table, and then I have someone patting me on my shoulder. Hey, I heard you're the one the guy that does the Taylor Swift prop bets and the political prop bets. Can you jump on our show? And I haven't had a time to. Yesterday or 2 days ago, I didn't eat. All I had was like a granola bar in the morning and maybe a bag of chips before like 8 o'clock at night.
You didn't eat?
No, I was just. They were handing out free sandwiches. I even got a free sandwich. It was still sitting on the floor next to my bag.
Crying out loud. That's disappointing. I mean, you got great food right there in Las Vegas, and they always feed the media. They feed the handicappers. Free food. You got to take advantage of that.
Yeah, I just didn't have it. There's a lot of WWE wrestlers because they're in town announcing the big announcement of The Rock and Roman Reigns for WrestleMania this year. So when people found out that I was the first person to put wrestling odds, then I'm getting other shows tapping me on the shoulder, not even talking about Super Bowl, wanting to know about stories I heard from WWE and Vince McMahon. So I could guarantee you I probably talked less Super Bowl odds than everything, what I put out, all my entertainment and wrestling and movie stuff.
How much around there is people trying to figure things out to take advantage of a prop? whether it's the national anthem or whatever. Do you sense a lot of, I don't know what you would call it, whether it's tomfoolery or digging here, digging there, trying to get any type of advantage that they can prop-wise?
I would think Monday people were, because let's say they asked Shanahan what was his favorite Gatorade color to drink. He said blue, so of course we got tons of blue action after that evening. Yesterday, I do a TV show called NGBN TV. It's a brand new station that talks about sports and men's mental health week. That's another interview that we can talk about. But I'm doing in my sports. I have a full hour sports show on there. And the Thunderbirds are right behind me. So I turned around and said, hey, can you peek on my TV show and wave to everybody? We're live on TV right now. How many Thunderbirds are flying over the arena on Super Bowl Sunday? They say 6. We had over under 4.5. So here's me live on TV with my cell phone trying to text the bosses to shut that prop down live on TV because the Thunderbirds behind me told me that they were flying 6 over. Now, does 6 happen? Because I heard once kind of separates before they hit their main section fly over, but I had to shut that prop down because inside information.
There you have it. Rafael Esparza with mybookie.org. Okay, the window this week, Kansas City and San Francisco. I know there's been some large wagers already placed. What's it been like?
Only $2 million bets so far. Everyone keeps on telling me, we heard there's 8, we heard there's 7, we heard there's 20. I'm like, no, there's only been $2 million bets, both on San Francisco, one on the money line, $1.2 million on the money line, and then the other one was taking the -2 for $1 million. A whole bunch of 6-figure bets. The last one I saw, I think today, was $550,000 on San Francisco money line. I think this game might be the first I've ever seen more money line bets on both sides, not just on the underdog, just because the number is 2, but the money lines are so small. Right now, last time I checked, 2 -125 on the 49ers, and then the Chiefs +2, but their money line is +110. I would not be shocked if it goes to +105 by kickoff.
Really? Okay, so big money on San Francisco. What about just the public? It could be a $10, it could be a $20 bet. Where's the public gone this week?
All KC. All Swiftie money came in, and I have to be nice to the Swifties because I burnt myself yesterday on a radio show, and the Swifties on air got mad at me. But now it's been all Swiftie Kansas City money. Little money, $100, $20 parlay, stuff like that. It's been Kansas City. Kansas City and under, not that much over money on them because I think they realize that if it's an over game, maybe that benefits the 49ers.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, hey, as we let you go, plug your website because I know you got a ton out there as far as special props folks can look at as well.
Yeah, you can jump over to youcanbetthat.com. Sometime today, I'm going to put all the crossover sports betting odds today. Next year, hopefully we'll have an intern that can do this all for me. But we'll have some interesting stuff posted today because I'm not doing too much tonight. So I can play a little catch-up. But youcanbetthat.com. You can find me on Twitter or X at VSI.Sports, and also find me on Instagram at Rafael Esparza. I've been trying to post as many pictures as I can. I have a WC belt on my waist as a picture I just posted. I got to put the WBC Boxing Championship belt around my waist today.
And you're going to go to a fight tonight. You're not going to do that any longer.
No, I'm so behind. People don't understand, how much work and research I do. So when I go to these events, I feel like I'm neglecting or stuff like that. I am so behind on so much stuff.
Well, I'm going to cut this short. We need you to get a meal in you, for crying out loud. I can feel you drifting away to nothing. Tell us about MyBookie and mybookie.org.
It's the big game. You don't have to sell it right now. It's Sunday. It's Super Bowl Sunday. Not only do we have over 2,000 different ways to bet the game, we have 1,500 exotic ways to bet the game. Commercials, cross sports, Swifties, political. There's so much way you can go on there. And then Saturday, full card of basketball games. A lot of great Mountain West. I said it, yeah. Mountain West Conference basketball on Saturday. Some great matchups. And then the NBA, NHL, all that full swing. UFC full swing as well on Saturday. So don't forget to jump over to MyBookie. Sign up today, win today, and maybe I'll take a nap on Monday.
All right, Rafael. Have a blast out there. Best of luck with everything. Thank you.
Take it easy. Have a great weekend.
There he goes, Rafael Esparza, live from Las Vegas and the site of Super Bowl 58. We'll have one more live report tomorrow from Super Bowl 58. We will have the Philly Rooster on, who, of course, lives in Las Vegas, much like Rafael Esparza. So that'll be part of what we have planned for you coming up on Friday. We still got to take one more here before we wrap things up on this Thursday. Hacker will join you at 8. My name's Rick Ballou, with you until then.
Take Jacksonville with you.
There's no place like home.
Listen to 1010XL away from home.
Oh, but anyway, Toto, we're home. Home.
Download the 1010XL and XL 92.5 FM apps for free on Apple and Android devices.
Feeling the chill or breaking a sweat in your own home? Call JTM Comfort Services. Father-son owned and veteran operated with 40 years experience to serve the Guggen Nation. JTM Comfort Services gets it right the first time, providing top-notch service, maintenance, and replacements for your heating and cooling needs. Get up to $1,300 back on a new system. Right now, get a free service call with any repair or replacement. Licensed and insured, visit jtmcooling.com.
Your comfort is our name. Call my dad to keep you in the game.
Are you 18 years or older, just got married, just got divorced, or have children? Listen up. Have you done your last will and estate planning? If you have questions, call Matt Hinson with the Hinson Law Firm. Reach him at 527-1700. Office is Jacksonville, Florida. And don't let the state decide your fate.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialist is now offering ortho walk-in appointments. If you have an immediate need for orthopedic care, contact Southeast Orthopedic Specialist immediately. Avoid ERs and urgent care waiting rooms. For more information, go to se-ortho.com.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Visit Monahan Jewelers now through Valentine's Day for savings on all GIA-certified diamonds and discounts store-wide up to 40% off. And interest-free financing on all purchases. Certified diamonds, gemstones, engagement rings, diamond studs, designer brands. Monahan's has it all. We're not a chain store. We're your local family jeweler since 1977 with a world-class inventory of fine jewelry and diamonds and gemstones available in any size. Support your local family jeweler now through Valentine's with huge savings on our inventory. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
If you'd like to see U.S. Border Patrol professional bull riders at VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena February 23rd and 24th, text PBR to the text line covered by Lifetime Flooring at 641-1010.
Make someone's heart pop on Valentine's Day. Show your love with a bouquet of chocolate roses, chocolate-covered popcorn, or a box of decadent truffles. Peterbrook is taking pre-orders for chocolate-covered strawberries. So get your order in and get those hearts popping.
Hey folks, Mike Dempsey here for Pella Windows and Doors. Look, it's kind of cooling down right now. I love opening my windows up this time of year. If you're looking to upgrade your windows in your home, I want you to visit the Pella showroom on Phillips Highway. Ask about their latest hurricane and impact-resistant windows and doors, rated #1 by Consumer Reports in all 3 main window categories. You want quality, style, and protection? Visit PellaJacks.com and the showroom on Phillips Highway just north of Bay Meadows. That's Pella Windows and Doors online at PellaJacks.com.
Okay, 3 more climbers, 7 loggers.
Ted's sustainably sourced logging company is growing a new branch.
What about truck driver contracts?
Which means a new HR manager will be the first hire to fall.
Then we'll need to staff up the warehouse.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hear the Florida Gators all season on 1010XL. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson, the official window and door replacement partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Tacos and sports go hand in hand, literally. You can watch sports with a taco in each hand or with a taco in one hand and a surfboard in the other. Don here from Taco Lou. I love sports, and since you're listening to this station, you love sports as well. If you love sports and tacos, then Taco Lou is calling your name. We always have the game on here, or you can call in a to-go order to watch at home, or let us cater your next watch party. Catering for the holidays? No problem. Taco Lou in Jax Beach. Cheers to tacos, sports, holidays with the family, and tequila.
Hey, this is Bert Cannon with the First Coast YMCA. Youth sports at the Y can help nurture your future athlete's potential and experience the joy of being a kid. At the Y, we're providing a safe, clean, and fun environment with basketball, soccer, volleyball, gymnastics, elite skills training, and more. Best of all, participation in Legacy Youth Sports League is free with your family membership. Visit fcymca.org to learn all about youth sports at the Y.
Smoke and carbon monoxide detectors are two of the best life-saving investments for the safety of your family. Mr. Sparky will install the best unit for your home.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Your on-time electrician, Mr. Sparky of the First Coast.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
You know, a Super Bowl is cool, and I've been to several. I've also been to many all weeks of Radio Row and have flown back before the game. But if you could do one sporting event, now listen, if the Jags are in it, that's a different story. I mean, going to the Super Bowl with the Jaguars in it, you can't beat it. But if I was to say, okay, the tab is on me, and you could go to one event, what would it be?
Probably like the World Cup final.
Really?
Just because it's like once every 4 years.
Okay.
Everything else you can kind of. You know what? I take that back. I would say, without context, without like the fighters, I would just say like a title match in Vegas.
Oh, it's awesome.
You know, like a big fight night.
Like when I got to see, Lennox Lewis against Callie Meehan. Or I mean, it was one of the Klitschko's.
I gotta go watch that right now. I'm sure it was like a third round.
I don't
knockout.
even. You know what's funny? I know it was Callie Meehan. I don't even remember who he fought. It might have been one of the Klitschko's in Vegas. It would have been the early 2000s.
They were so boring at that time.
They
the Klitschko
were.
brothers did that grab and jab style, and they just slowed it down. And
well, I remember riding in an elevator next to Lennox Lewis. He was a monster. He was a legit 6'6", 6'7", or whatever he was.
You might have seen him lose to Rockman. Hasim Rockman. That was
Hasim
2004.
Rockman.
Oh, no, that was in Madison Square Garden.
Did Rockman do some things in Tallahassee? Was he the one who trained there for a little bit of time? I don't know. But yeah, that would. I think I'd choose.
What year are we talking?
Probably 2003, 2004, 2005, somewhere. You know, I told you I had them fooled that they would send me to Vegas, and I would do things there with Al Bernstein and the late Burt Sugar, and then Gil Brandt during football season would join me out there and do all this fantasy stuff. The late Gil Brandt, who was just a blessing. Big boxing match, huh?
I would love that. Like, unfortunately, we had Tyson Fury had like a huge gash on his eye from sparring about a week back, and they had to push the 17th fight between him and Usyk back. But something like that, like heavyweight, belts on the line, or, you know, we had Crawford versus Spence last year, like in Vegas. God, I would love that. You know, tickets are like $10,000.
Well, I tell you what, the event that comes here, when you have high-ticket UFC matches here.
Awesome.
And I'm credentialed for it. You can't ask for anything better. And these boxing matches, I was credentialed for it. But, you know, the ones that would stick out is like going to Pebble in 2000, covering the U.S. Open, or going to the Masters in 2013.
I forgot.
But when you're my size, I say I'm 5'10", but I think my neck, my head is sunk into my shoulders, so I'm probably like 5'9" now. When you're 5'9", if you're not in a chalet, which at least there weren't any in 2013 at the Masters, it's hard to see what's going on in the world of golf when you're just in the crowd.
That's why the Players is so fun.
Yes, because you have the chalets, right? And you got some hills.
And, yeah, exactly. You can stand, like, anywhere. It's a stadium course. They built it for that. And, a short guy like me, or a normal-sized guy, I never have trouble at the Players.
No, but you would at Augusta.
I'm sure.
And you would at Pebble, because I think that would be, you know, for our listeners, I think a lot of them would choose that. Because it'd be so easy to say Super Bowl, national title, but, you know, what if you're around here and you picked the national title, and this year you went to go see Michigan, Washington?
Or last year, TCU.
Yeah, I mean, you'd pick a national title if it had your college team in it. Or, you know, again, a Super Bowl with Jacksonville, it's the end of the conversation. I mean, everyone's going to pick that. But
what about like city-wise? Like if you just had to be plopped down in the middle of a Super Bowl in any random city in America?
San Diego's my favorite city.
Okay. Vegas to me would sound just amazing. I like the parties going on this week are probably insane. The amount of celebrity sightings you probably see at just any and every casino, it's got to be fun.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to Vegas next week, and we were going to stay longer, but it's like, you know what? You spend 3 days in Vegas. It's kind of like New Orleans. It's like New Orleans. It's like you get it all in, you get it all out, and then it's like it's time to get out of there.
You're not missing much on,
but you don't have
day 5.
Right. You don't have a stadium. You don't have a quality stadium in San Diego. But for me, you know, outside of being here in Duval, San Diego's my favorite city.
Now, the 2-minute drill, brought to you by Tire Outlet. Tire Outlet is now hiring. Visit tireoutlet.com/careers. Equal opportunity employer.
It's Vegas. That's the Hunt family.
Yeah.
Ain't Clark Hunt with, is it his daughter? I think it was his daughter, and I don't know what it was, but that must be kind of fun to be a fly on the wall at that NFL award ceremony, which includes the Hall of Fame going on tonight.
Yeah, Hall of Fame going on tomorrow night. We don't know. Actually, the Hall of Famers know. They were notified within the last week, so they already know. I guess they were sworn to secrecy. Obviously, all eyes on Fred Taylor. But, Rick, my point tonight is I would sincerely doubt Fred gets in, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It took him forever just to get into the room, right? And it took Baselli, 4 years once he was a finalist to get in. I mean, it's a process. But if that report coming out of Chicago is true and nobody has denied it, that both Julius Peppers and Devin Hester are getting in tonight, that almost makes it a foregone conclusion that Fred will not.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen, unfortunately, for Fred. I saw that report. For what it's worth, I had the 2 first ballot guys, Gates and Peppers, automatically in. I was hoping for 2 wide receivers tonight. If it wasn't Fred, let's start getting these guys in. So, you know, maybe 6-7 years down the road, Jimmy Smith can get in. But I saw the Hester one, and I picked Reggie Wayne. And you know what I'm seeing a ton of, and I'll admit it affected my decision. It's Patrick Willis.
Yeah.
So those are the 5 that I picked.
There's a lot of NFL Network people, including Peter Schrager, that are really on the Patrick Willis train to get in. The argument against him, obviously, is he didn't play.
It's Baselli.
Very long. It's Baselli and Gale Sayers. But I think Willis deserves to get in. Devin Hester's a great player. And I know Miami fans are probably going to be mad at me for this, but is Devin Hester a Hall of Famer before Fred Taylor?
No.
I don't think he is either. He was the best punt returner that's ever lived. But, I mean, come on, man. I mean, you know, you're talking about Fred Taylor, a guy with 12,000 rushing yards, basically, and one of the top 20 running backs of all time. I don't know. That's tough for me if Devin Hester gets in tonight over Fred.
Yeah, I did it. I did the 5 and who I thought was going to go in, not who I thought should go in. I would probably have Hester number 15 on my list. If not, maybe 12, 13, 14, somewhere in that neck of the woods. The 3 wide receivers I'd put ahead. Reggie Wayne, Torrey Holt, and Andre Johnson, in my opinion, should all be in ahead of Devin Hester. But I think 1 gets in tonight, possibly 2, but I'm going to go with 1. So you'll be on the air when this is announced. I have a feeling it's not going to be until probably later, probably around 9:30. So I'm trying to remember when
I
they
might
announced
actually be lucky to be on the air. It's a 2-hour show tonight, but because it's in Vegas, it doesn't start till 9 o'clock Eastern. So we'll see if the word comes in before 10 o'clock. Yeah,
I thought it was starting at 8. It's 9 Eastern.
I believe it's 9 to 11.
All right, what else tonight? What do you got?
Yeah, obviously a lot of Super Bowl talk, a lot of Jaguar talk. Former Jaguar wide receiver Cecil Shorts will stop by the program. Also, Justin Lewis of the Florida Times-Union and Josh Edwards of CBSSports.com. Ton of football coming your way over the next 2 hours.
All right, buddy. Have a good show.
Thanks, Rick.
It's going to do it for us right here on this Thursday night. We'll be back tomorrow, 6 to 8. I don't check the text line now that the show is over, but you can always get me on Twitter or X. Just go to Ballou1010 XL, and I'm available there. Thank you to Danny Van Sickle. Thank you to Rafael Esparza. Here's hoping Fred Taylor gets into the Hall of Fame. The next best thing you can hope for is a couple of wide receivers to get in to make it a little bit easier for Jimmy Smith down the road. Our producer is JJ LaSelva. My name is Rick Ballou. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 6 o'clock.